Hello and welcome to the first Stainless Steel Battle Report. I'm Nova.Titan and I'll be bringing you a battle report on the Stainless Steel mod for the Medieval 2 Total War Kingdoms expansion. Stainless Steel provides a more historic and realistic battle system than the original game. I'll be playing as the Republic of Genoa as the attacker. My opponent JohnGlave will be defending as the Holy Roman Empire. My army consists of 1 unit of men-at-arms, 1 Genoese Patricians, 1 unit of Feudal Knights, 4 units of Mailed-Foot Knights, 4 units of Genoese Crossbowmen, 4 units of Spearmen Sergeants, and 1 unit of Urban Spear Militia. Stainless Steel also changes and modifies the unit stats and defense and attack values to mimic realistic and historic values and warfare. The strategy used is similar, but it still remains more true to history than the vanilla Medieval 2 Total War. JohnGlave's army consists of 4 Burgher Pikemen, 3 units of Imperial Knights, 2 units of archers, 1 unit of handgunners, 2 units of Mangonel, and 1 unit of General's Bodyguard. And he also has 2 units of Imperial Knights, though they are clumped together, which seems like 1. He is going to be defending on the hill, and he has formed up. And he will be using Mangonel to get me to attack as quickly as I can. They are his 2 units of Imperial Knights. And you can see at the very rear, he has his General's Bodyguard. And the general is in black and yellow. I send my units on the right side facing him. And I first send out my crossbow, and then I follow with my spearmen and the rest of my infantry, which are spearmen, to back up the crossbowmen in case of a cavalry attack. My cavalry has generally already formed in their positions in the right, center, and left. I apologize in advance for the graphical quality. I set it to the lowest settings, shader version 2, because my computer can't handle it when I'm running Fraps. And with Fraps is also running on the primary drive. I don't have a secondary drive, so it's not running on the secondary drive right now, so it also causes much more lag than it should. The unit size is huge because it's much more realistic with the biggest unit size. These battles were actually bigger than what's featured in this match. I send my, this is one of the 2 units of cavalry on the left flank. I'm using them as a kind of like a border for my troops to perform in case of a cavalry attack. And I also want to keep them in a defensive position to move and maneuver on the sides of the enemy army. The cavalry in the front, the spearmen in the rear, so that the crossbowmen can actually go behind them. As you can see over there, Mangonel have burned some of my troops, my crossbowmen, and I'm actually trying to rush my crossbowmen forward to actually attack his ranks and try to reduce my casualties. Right here, I still have my crossbowmen in the square position because I wanted to send them to attack as soon as possible. The Mangonel was burning my troops. Right in the center and the left, I'm sending them in 2 lines. Center, I'd send 2 lines, and to the left flank, I send 1 line of crossbowmen. Mangonel, when it burns the troops, it reduces morale, and if you actually send in your crossbowmen or ranged units or skirmishers too far from your rest of your troops, they actually get intimidated and can rout. These archers continue to attack my crossbowmen as they advance. I suffer some casualties, minor casualties, because my Genoese crossbowmen have quite a bit of armor. That's just not a pretty way to die right there. Here. It's a bit disorganized, but I wanted to rush my units as soon as possible. I see his cavalry advancing slightly, so I send my 2 units of knights, my cavalry, to the left flank in an advanced position. And I don't want them to attack my crossbowmen because they're vital to my strategy. I want them to survive through this whole battle. He charges with his 2 units of Imperial Knights, and I try to counter-charge, but it's a bit too late, and his charge is pretty effective, and I suffer heavy casualties from just 1 charge. His handgunners begin to attack my Mailed-Foot Knights on the right flank, and suffer some casualties. The gunpowder units, particularly the handgunners, are actually extremely inaccurate, but they do pierce through almost all armor. Mangonel continue to burn my infantry. See right there. Those are my spearmen. You see the spearmen are trying to... I'm waiting for him to make a move, but I send in my Spearmen Sergeants. I reform behind the cavalry and charge right behind to support my cavalry on the left flank. I just want to win the cavalry fight, but I know I couldn't be with just my knights because the Imperial Knights are superior in armor and strength. So I sent in my Spearmen Sergeants to hit the flank. I send in my 4 units of mailed foot knights against his handgunners to prevent more casualties against the mailed foot knights. And he actually retreats them to the center, and my mailed foot knights are attacking. And he countercharges his Imperial foot knights to fight my mailed foot knights in replacing the handgunners. These handgunners aren't as strong as the rest of his infantry. He still reforms in the center, but he doesn't actually retreat them fully. So I send 1 unit of mailed foot knights to try to attack the retreating, reforming handgunners. They finally retreat behind the Burgher Pikemen. My crossbowmen continue to fire upon the Burgher Pikemen and the rest of the infantry. They pierce armor quite well compared to archers, but the rate of fire is much slower. As you can see here, my cavalry is still alive. I still have 2 units of cavalry, although they're mostly destroyed. And he also has 2 units of Imperial Knights. I just can't afford to actually retreat them at this point because I want to keep the cavalry occupied and not hit my rear, my infantry. See the melee fight right here between the mailed foot knights and the Imperial foot knights. And I sent my cavalry to hit the side of the Imperial foot knights. But it's not that effective as support because once they're engaged in melee, the cavalry actually does not use a lance, so it's not going to be that strong against the Imperial foot knights who can destroy cavalry. I sneak my my cavalry behind enemy lines on the side, right side, far right side, and he actually doesn't notice it. Right there, they're reforming. I send them far into the right side and behind enemy lines and reform. He decides to support his Imperial foot knights with his units of Burgher Pikemen. He sends 2 units of Burgher Pikemen to assist his Imperial foot knights, and they hit the side of my my mass of Imperial, my mailed foot knights. Right there, having the advantage of terrain. I charge in my cavalry against his archers, and he sees the mistake. And he sees the mistake once I hit his archers, actually, a little bit too late. And he sends his general's bodyguard to attack my my greater force of cavalry. Because my 1 unit of cavalry has more horses and knights than his general's bodyguard. So I can actually go get sandwiched between the archers and the my general's bodyguard. Should be fine. I send my urban spear militia and my spearmen sergeants to support my mailed foot knights and hit the side of the Burgher Pikemen. He sends his 2nd unit out of the 2, and he sends it to the center, try to hit and support his Burgher Pikemen.
We are blessed. The enemy general is dead.
Yep, the general generally dies. His general's bodyguard is completely destroyed, along with some of his archers. He responds by sending in his Burgher Pikemen to try to ward my cavalry off the Mangonel, because I charged right at the Mangonel because they were open to attack. And then I charge my spearmen behind the Burgher Pikemen in the center because they're open. They're supporting the other Burgher Pikemen, but they're also open to attack because the other units of Burgher Pikemen are trying to chase my cavalry. This causes the Burgher Pikemen to rout. He still continues to send his Burgher Pikemen, and I still retreat and safely retreat my my cavalry out of harm's way. This causes the rout in the center, and my spearmen chase them so that they don't reform. And then I send the other spearmen on the left flank to support the my troops on the left. because the Burgher pikemen in general in the front are extremely strong. Handgunners still continue to attack my crossbowmen on the left flank. They stopped firing upon my infantry, but they're firing upon the crossbowmen. His Imperial Knights are sent to attempt to support his running pikemen, but then he also sends his archers in melee to support his Imperial Knights right there. But they are muddled and it proves to be largely ineffective. As you can see over there, they're right behind the Imperial Knights, but they're actually not supporting it because they're all lined up. They can't like phase through the Imperial Knights, even if they wish to.
Only half the enemy force remains.
I send in my cavalry against his archers in the center. And because the archers were open to attack. And I also charge and engage melee in the Imperial Knights because after you kill the archers, you end up with the Imperial Knights. Then I retreat them after. My Spearmen and Remaining Male Knights continue to fight the Burgher Pikemen and the Imperial Knights. That's the one mass on the right flank. He sends another unit of archers to sandwich my cavalry in melee, but it doesn't really matter. I send in my 2 remaining cavalry units, not cavalry units, 2 horses, and charge them on the right flank, which causes the Burgher Pikemen to rout. Those are my only surviving knights from the earlier battle between the 2 Imperial Knights, 2 units of Imperial Knights. See, that's his setup right there. Then I charge against his Imperial Knights. Then it's not that effective because they have a lot of armor. And then I reform on the hill. And I get ready and then start to charge and try to engage in melee against his Mangonel. I don't want to suffer that many casualties from artillery. Sends his Imperial Knights to chase my Spearmen because they're all running away and they suffered heavy, well, medium casualties, but they're actually overpowered by the Imperial Knights, which have better armor and weapons. The handgunners continue to attack my crossbowmen. It's generally the case, but they generally lose the missile fight. Then to support my Spearmen, I try to send in my cavalry, and then he charges with his 2nd unit of Imperial Knights on the side. I respond by charging, counter-charging, and it actually works because the lances are hitting the knights. It's not as effective because it's a bit too close to charge. And those maces will actually destroy my heavily armored knights. So I retreat them, try to prevent them from engaging in melee. And those are his Imperial Knights chasing my crossbowmen. This is vital in later sieges of the battle. See there, he kept his Imperial Knights idle. After that, I charge them across the right flank on the Imperial Knights, and then I retreat again. And then I retreat them right in front of my Genoese Crossbowmen in a defensive position. See here, those are my crossbowmen. 1, 2, and 3 units are scattered, but they're still in formation. And then I charge them across and then hit the archers and also the charging Imperial Knights. It's rather a thin line of archers, and they were pretty vulnerable, so I wanted to destroy them. I retreat and send them in front of the crossbowmen once more. And then I charge him and hit his other unit of archers. And this time it completely destroys the units. There are no archers left on that unit. Although he has still 1 remaining unit of archers out of the 2, but finally destroyed 1 unit of his archers with that 1 cavalry charge. I see on the center right, his Imperial Knights, so I charge from medium-long range, and it's the most effective charge against the Imperial Knights throughout the whole game. I retreat after charging, losing some of my horses. I retreat them in front of my Genoese Crossbowmen. And my Genoese Crossbowmen provide support fire. He sends his remaining archers on to my cavalry or to my crossbowmen to engage in melee. As you can see, they're very tired.